Thank you. Welcome, everybody. This is Councilman Britt Moore here at the High Point City Hall with fellow council member Victor Jones and Councilman Michael Holmes. Understand Mayor Pro Tem Peters is close by on the way, so she will be here shortly. And but with that, we have a quorum, so we are going to go ahead and start the process. Our first item today is 2022-91. This is a contract on some equipment, and Kevin Rogers is going to explain for us.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
The Environmental Services Division was using a 2007 Sterling truck with a Heel brand rear loading body that was involved in an accident was a total loss. The International truck with a new way rear loading refuse body configuration works well for the division and will meet their needs. The price of $205,784 is for one truck, refuse body installation, training, and delivery. The unit is in stock and will be immediate delivery. A budget ordinance amendment appropriating funds will follow this item, and Fleet Services Department recommends purchasing the International truck with new way rear loading body from Amick Equipment Company.
So this is to replace one that was in that wreck?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Insurance play a part on this one?
No, there were no insurance proceeds for this one. It's self-insured through the city.
Any other comments or questions? If not, I'll make a motion to approve item 2022-91.
Second.
There's a second. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Jones?
Aye.
Councilman Moore is an aye. That motion passes. Don't go too far there, Kevin. Next item, 2022-92, was the budget ordinance amendments that goes with the item we just heard, and presenting is Stephen Howerlich.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and good afternoon. This is a budget ordinance amendment appropriating $205,701 in solid waste fund reserves, and then transferring those funds to the Fleet Services Fund for the replacement of the rear loader that was totaled back in the fall that Mr. Rogers just spoke about. We budget for replacement vehicles, but obviously a total loss of a vehicle is why we need this budget amendment and transfer it to the Fleet Fund for the purchase. We'd recommend approval.
Thank you. Any questions? I'll make a motion to approve item 2022-92.
Second.
There's a second. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Jones?
Aye.
Councilman Moore is aye. That motion passes. Next item, 2022-93, is a contract on a Mower Max boom mower, and Kevin Rogers is back to tell us about that.
All right, thank you, sir. The Streets Division is currently using a similar boom mower for roadway maintenance and is meeting their needs. The boom mower was deferred as part of the FY 21-22 budget in order to help balance the budget. At the February 7, 2022 special meeting of the City Council, a list of critical items that were deferred as part of the budget, including this boom mower, was approved by City Council to be funded with American Rescue Plan funds. The price of $192,697 is for the boom mower, training, and delivery. Estimated delivery is 60 to 90 days. Funds are available in the 21-22 budget, and we recommend approval for purchase from Atmax Equipment Company.
Do we have ones that are still working? Are we replacing something here
No, sir.
or adding to?
Adding to.
Okay, because the grass is coming quick.
How many total would that give us for our fleet inventory?
2.
That's 2. Atmax was the only supplier?
Well, they're on the North Carolina Sheriff's Association contract and very aggressive price.
Anything else? I'll make a motion to approve. If not, item 2022-93.
Second.
There is a second. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Jones?
Aye.
Councilman Moore is an aye. That motion passes. Thank you, Kevin. They left me hanging here, but you give me just a minute. And I would. Item 2022-94 has to do with a contract at our High Point City Lake Park and Event Center that's under construction. And you don't look like Lee Tillery, and I don't remember your name.
I'm Tracy Pegram. I'm the
Hey,
Assistant
Tracy.
Director. Hey.
Thank you. Go right ahead.
Okay, well, the purpose of this contract is for us to purchase the furniture and office equipment needed for the Meeting and Event Center. As you all know, there's construction going on there. We've renovated the gym into a meeting and event center. This contract will include furniture for the lobby, the assembly rooms, the staff break room, conference room, 2 staff offices, and the second floor balcony. Lead time for deliveries is now longer than expected, so placing this order, we need to go ahead and make some decisions on this. The funds are included in the City Lake Park renovation project as part of the furniture, fixtures, and equipment item, and the budget impact is $126,279.56. We'd like to recommend that council approve this contract with Interior Elements in that amount.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for Tracy?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion, I'll make the second. I would just like to state, I did some talking on this one, and it warms my heart and makes me happy that we are using many local manufacturers in this process. So kudos to the committee for that. Councilman Holmes, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Jones?
Aye.
Councilman Moore is an aye. That motion passes.
Thank you.
Item 2022-95 is sole source contract, and Robbie Stone stepping up.
Yes, sir. Council, this is for a sole source for the West Side Wastewater Treatment Plant centrifuge. We're looking to perform a major rebuild on this centrifuge. This is used for dewatering solids that are part of the wastewater treatment process. The centrifuge recently went offline due to a failed heat exchanger that's caused the water and the oil to mix. After further investigation, we also realized that we need replacement of the gearboxes too. It's critical that the centrifuge be repaired and put back into service as soon as possible. We're currently hauling the sludge from East Side Wastewater to the East Side Wastewater Treatment Plant at a cost of $3,000 per day. On January 4th, 2022, City Council approved the pre-purchase of a sludge dewatering equipment that will be installed under a future contract that will be put out for bid for the West Side Wastewater Treatment sludge dewatering system improvements. The new sludge dewatering equipment will be delivered in January of 2023 with an estimated project completion of September 2023. So basically, we're just trying to make this repair to get us to that point of this new equipment will be here. We do have funding available in this current budget. So Public Service is recommending that GEA Westphalia be approved as a sole source vendor to repair the West Side Wastewater Treatment centrifuge in the amount of $107,338.56.
Always a challenge. Refresh me, the $3,000 a day we're paying, that's contracted out?
That is contracted out, yes.
So, the repair, you said the heat transfer was a
It's a heat exchanger, yes.
heat exchanger?
Yes.
Okay. Is that, was that wear and tear burnout, or it's just?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Just due to age.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Then I'll make a motion to approve item 2022-95.
Second.
There's a second. Mayor Pro Tem Peters has joined us. How do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Holmes?
Aye.
Councilman Jones?
Aye.
Councilman Moore is an aye. Thank you, Robbie. That motion passes. Next item is 2022-96. This is has to do with our furniture market transportation grant, and let me correct that. I'm not going to call you Angela, Mark.
All right.
Mark
Thank you.
McDonald presents.
Yes, this is an amendment to an existing agreement for furniture market transportation funds that are received from NCDOT annually. And we were advised not too long ago that NCDOT was going to award some additional funds, and that's what this is for. It's an additional $500,000 added on to the $1.2 million that was originally approved.
Very good. Very helpful. Any comments or questions? I'll make a motion to approve item 2022-96.
Second.
There's a second. Mayor Pro Tem Peters, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Holmes?
Aye.
Councilman Jones?
Aye.
Councilman Moore is an aye. Thank you, Mark. And following that, we will need to hear about item 2022-97, which is the ordinance amendment to move the money on the grant, and Steve Howerlick is back.
Yes, sir. This is a budget ordinance amendment, accepting and appropriating the additional $500,000 from North Carolina Department of Transportation for the furniture market transportation services. The original grant agreement, which totaled $1.2 million, was included in the adopted budget, and so we're just adding the $500,000 that we're getting through the grant. The item is a pass-through item, has a neutral impact on the city's budget, and we'd recommend approval.
I'll make a motion to approve item 2022-97.
Second.
There's a second. Mayor Pro Tem Peters, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Holmes?
Aye.
Councilman Jones?
Aye.
And Councilman Moore is an aye. Thank you, Stephen. I've got Stephen up presenting the next one, but maybe not. 2022-98 is a contract for an upgrade to surveillance systems in our transit, and Mark McDonald is presenting.
Yes, this is to award a contract to Xeon System Sales for the upgrades to the surveillance cameras on all of our buses. We were advised sometime last year that the cameras that were put in the buses when we first received them back in 2016 were no longer being supported, and we could not get replacement parts any longer. So this is to replace all of the surveillance systems in all of the buses with new HD cameras that will actually provide us with better capabilities as well. And the total amount of the contract is $120,542.
How many buses is that for?
16.
16 buses. And what all angles are we capturing with all that? Is that outside, inside, everything?
It will. There's cameras inside. There's cameras that face forward and rearward. There's cameras that focus on the driver. There's cameras that focus to the rear of the, going out of the back of the bus and in front of the bus. So there's many different views that can be captured from these cameras.
Are those connected to where we can view them live, like the city can view them live, or just download to a hard drive DVR?
To my knowledge, they're just downloadable to DVR and can then be previewed when there's an incident that requires reviewing, yes.
Anything else? I'll make a motion to approve item 2022-98.
Second.
There's a second. Mayor Pro Tem Peters, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Holmes?
Aye.
Councilman Jones?
Aye.
Councilman Moore is an aye. That motion passes. Thank you, Mark. You're getting close, aren't you? You're getting close to retiring, aren't you? Well, we're gonna miss having you around here. Thank you for all you do. Item 2022-99. This is an MOU, and legal attorney Megan is going to share with us.
So this is a memorandum of understanding with Guilford County Schools. In January, they approached the city to ask if the students could ride the buses due to a lack of student busing. And so we have a MOU, it's already been going on since January, to kind of memorialize what's been happening, which is that Guilford County Schools pays for the services on a monthly basis. The students are eligible riders with a one card, and they have to have a student ID to make sure that they're part of the system. And then they're allowed to use it, and it's going to be through this current school year, so it'll end in June of 2022. Beyond that, nothing different for the city, just having the payment relationship where Guilford County Schools takes care of it on a monthly basis, and there's no other additional responsibilities of the city.
Do you foresee a possibility this is going to end in June, right?
Right now, that is our understanding of it. So, they'll have the summer, I guess, to work through any issues that they have with the student busing, but, there's a chance that they come back in the fall if they haven't been able to resolve the issues, but right now the MOU is just through this current school year.
Mr. Chairman, we did want to report, we have average ridership of about 200 a day, so it has been utilized.
Thank you. Any comments, questions? Then I'll make a motion to approve item 2022-99.
Second.
There is a second. Mayor Pro Tem Peters, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Holmes?
Aye.
Councilman Jones?
Aye.
Councilman Moore is an aye. That motion passes. And item 2022-100 is a budget ordinance, and Stephen Howerlick is going to tell us about it.
Yes, sir. This is a budget ordinance amendment appropriating $350,000 in revenue from Guilford County and $344,693 in general fund reserves for the Elm Street Plaza and Appling Way Streetscape project. On February 7th, the City Council approved a resolution that authorized a reimbursement agreement with Elliott Sidewalk Communities of High Point for the design and construction of this project, and that was in an amount not to exceed $1,099,739. We've been able to apply existing appropriations of slightly over $405,000 towards the project, but that still leaves a balance of $694,693. The Guilford County Board of Commissioners have agreed to appropriate $350,000 per year, beginning with this year, to be used as an economic assistance grant to support new development in the defined catalyst influence area. One caveat is that grant cannot be used for debt service on the stadium. And so therefore, we're proposing to amend the budget to appropriate the $350,000 from Guilford County and then cover the remaining balance from general fund reserves. We recommend approval of this item.
Thank you, Steve. Anything else? I'll make a motion to approve item 2022-100.
Second.
And also encourage all of you, if you haven't been down that way lately, there's a lot going on and it's changing very quickly. So you can go keep up with it. Mayor Pro Tem Peters, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Holmes?
Aye.
Councilman Jones?
Aye.
Councilman Moore's an aye. Thanks, Stephen.
Quick question, if I may, Chairman.
Yeah.
When do you think the plaza will be ready? Do you think it'll be ready by April 2nd, 22nd? Okay.
It's scheduled to be completed before opening day of
Okay.
April 21st.
Okay, it's gonna be awesome. And it's considered a public space, right? The whole plaza area is considered public space, okay? That's
Okay. Item 2022-101 is a corresponding budget ordinance for Stephen to tell us about again.
Yes, sir. This is a budget ordinance amendment appropriating $1,215,000 in fund balance to cover the costs of the $1,000 bonus for general fund department employees. Back in early February, City Council approved several pay adjustments and strategies to help address historic staffing challenges that are facing the city. This include a $1,000 bonus for all current full and part-time positions, a 2.5% cost of living adjustment, and an increase to $15 per hour minimum, among other things. The total cost of all these adjustments for the rest of the fiscal year is $2.76 million across all of the city's departments and funds. We're able to cover and absorb it in our enterprise funds, the water sewer fund, electric, solid waste, et cetera. And also the COLA and $15 per hour increase can be covered in the general fund through existing vacancy savings. However, the bonus cannot be covered through existing appropriations, and therefore we're recommending to use general fund balance. The bonus is a one-time application of funds, and so we feel that using one-time reserves is an appropriate use of the funds. We'd recommend approval.
Comments, questions?
I've got two comments, please.
Sure.
First of all, I want to thank staff and everyone for that pay increase. I've kind of heard through the grapevine that it's kind of renewed a lot of staff's energy and just camaraderie and stuff, so I really appreciate that. And also, I wanted to share that I also heard from someone that was at the job fair that I think that was very successful, is what I'm hearing, that a lot of folks came, and I think a lot of it is because of the courage that we, had to raise their pay and to make it attractive, and plus all the great energy that's going on in High Point, and every single person in here attributes to that, and so for that I want to thank you very much. So that's
All right. Did we get a second?
I didn't hear a motion.
Okay, well, I'm going to make the motion then, that we approve 2022-101.
Second.
There's a second. Mayor Pro Tem Peters, how do you vote?
aye.
And Councilman Holmes?
Aye.
Councilman Jones?
Aye.
Councilman Moore is an aye. You don't want to leave, do you, Stephen? You've been up there a lot. Item 2022-102 is having to do with GO bonds, and Mr. Bobby Fitzjohn will explain.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the Finance Committee. This is the initial authorization for staff to move forward with issuing refunding GO bonds. It's a not-to-exceed amount of $20 million based on current market trends, we think there may still be potentially some refunding in here. There's 3 different issues that we're looking at. There's still potential that we will refund 2 of those as we move forward. It won't be the full 20 million. Back in January when we started this process, the savings looked great. Markets got a little wonky recently. But these will be issued alongside new money bonds for Parks and Recreation, Transportation, and the affordable housing bonds. So there's some efficiencies in doing those along together, and we will only refund them if it makes sense. But this gets the process started. As you're familiar with, these will actually go to the full council. But if anybody in the committee has any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
I don't. So this is just for our information here today?
Correct.
And we will do this the way we've done before in front of full council.
That's correct. And then the next item is revenue bonds, and it's similar. These are projects you've already approved. This is just the funding mechanism for them. We will issue around the same time that we issue the GO bonds. Again, just maximizing that efficiency of going to market with one preliminary offering statement, one credit rating presentation, that sort of thing. So, but again, that'll be introduced at the full council Monday night.
And then the next item would be that we're going to, well, I'll go through and accept that public hearing. So.
Correct. There'll be a public hearing at the Monday night meeting, and then upon closure, council will be asked to adopt the bond order that you introduced previously.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you.
So that will take us through to 2022-105, correct? Which is just the statement of the fact that we're going to have another public hearing. Has to do with performance-based incentives. I'm showing Stephen was going to make a comment on this, but no. I don't. Sandy Dunbeck, the president of our EDC, is going to make some comments.
Yes. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the
Thank you.
Finance Committee. We do have 2 projects to go to public hearing, if you concur, on Monday night. The first is a public hearing for Cone Health, Allergy and Asthma. They're proposing to relocate to 400 North Elm Street and have requested incentives. This is a healthcare industry company currently located at 100 Westwood Avenue. They would move to 400 North Elm, allowing some additional development at 100 Westwood. The Allergy and Asthma group provides services to patients in High Point and across the Greater Triad, many patients of whom are Medicare or Medicaid, and they are considering a lease of 6,460 square feet and will make an investment of $315,000 in building upfits. High Point EDC is recommending consideration of performance-based incentives based upon the building upfit policy in the amount of $75,000.
Okay. And then, these will come before us for the full presentation.
That's right. Company officials will be with us as well
Okay.
on Monday night to present.
All right.
And then the second one is the DNA Beverage that does business as Nomad Wine Works, is considering locating on Wren Street in downtown High Point. They're considering the lease of 4,900 square feet. They want to have an urban winery. It will be a micro winery in downtown High Point. We are recommending the rent assistance program for this project. That comes in at 45, 35, 25, and 15% over a 4-year period for a total amount of $102,518. And company officials will be with us as well on Monday night to share more.
Good. They have samples?
Oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank y'all.
For the presentation. I'm showing that that's all that was listed on our agenda today. Is there anything else that needs to come before finance?
I just like to make a statement. I think that item, like on item 100, Yeah, it's really cool to see that collaboration between us and the county commissioners working on that we were able to, took a couple of years, but worked out a collaboration that helps fund
Well,
the things we're doing.
I agree. Didn't work out right out the gate, but found ways to work together down the road, so that's a good thing.
Stuff.
And it's paying them back pretty good right now. If there's no one opposed, then I'm going to adjourn this meeting. We are adjourned. Thank you.